November 1979, Waldorf Astoria Hotel, Manhattan, New York City. The lobby was quiet, elegant, expensive. Crystal chandeliers hung from the ceiling. Marble floors reflected the warm golden light. This was where the wealthy stayed, where the powerful made deals, where everything looked perfect on the surface. If you love discovering the untold stories behind music history's most incredible moments, please like this video and subscribe to our channel. Hit that notification bell, because we uncover the hidden gems that shaped the legends we know today. Bob Marley sat alone in a corner of the lobby, reading a book. He was 34 years old, at the peak of his career. The Survival album had just been released. He'd performed at Madison Square Garden 2 nights ago to a sold-out crowd. Now he was resting before flying to his next city. His dreadlocks fell past his shoulders. He wore simple clothes, jeans, and a denim jacket. He looked out of place in this temple of luxury, but he didn't care. Across the lobby, Michael Jackson walked toward the elevators. He was 21 years old, wearing a black suit, his hair perfectly styled. Off the Wall had been released 2 months ago, and he was in New York doing radio interviews, TV appearances, building his solo career separate from his brothers. He was nervous, exhausted, and feeling the weight of proving himself. As Michael passed, he saw Bob. He stopped, stared, his heart jumped. Bob Marley. Right there. Michael had grown up listening to Bob's music. His brothers played it constantly, but Michael had never met him, never even been in the same room with him. Michael stood frozen for a moment, debating. Should he say something? What if Bob wanted to be left alone? What if he seemed like just another annoying fan? Bob looked up from his book, made eye contact, smiled slightly. That was enough. Michael walked over, his hands shaking slightly. Excuse me, Mr. Marley? Bob closed his book. Call me Bob, brother. What's your name? Michael Jackson. Bob's eyes widened slightly. The Michael Jackson? From the Jackson 5? Michael nodded, surprised Bob knew who he was. Sit down, man, Bob said, gesturing to the chair across from him. I've been listening to your new album. Don't stop till you get enough. That's special, brother. That's really special. Michael sat down, trying to hide how much those words meant to him. Thank you. That means a lot. Coming from you. They talked for 15 minutes. About music, about the pressure of fame, about family, about being young and black and watched constantly. Bob spoke slowly, thoughtfully. Michael listened carefully, soaking up every word like he was learning from a professor. The hardest part, Bob said, is staying true to yourself when everyone wants you to be something else. They want to shape you, control you, use you. But your music, your art, that has to come from here. He tapped his chest. Not from what they tell you to be. Michael nodded. He understood that more than Bob could know. At 9:30 p.m., a young couple approached the bar entrance at the far end of the lobby. The man was tall, wearing a gray suit. The woman wore a blue dress, her hair styled beautifully. Both were black. Both were smiling, holding hands. Marcus and Diana Thompson were celebrating their 3rd wedding anniversary. Marcus worked as an accountant. Diana was a school teacher. They'd saved for months to afford one night at the Waldorf Astoria, one special dinner in the famous hotel bar. They wanted to feel, just for one evening, like they belonged in this world of elegance and luxury. The host at the bar entrance was a thin white man in his 50s, wearing a crisp suit. He looked at Marcus and Diana approaching, and his expression shifted, hardened almost imperceptibly. Good evening, Marcus said warmly. Table for 2, please. The host glanced past them into the bar. It was half empty. Maybe 20 people scattered across 40 tables. Do you have a reservation? No, Marcus said, still smiling. But it looks like you have plenty of room. I'm sorry, sir. Those tables are all reserved. Diana looked past the host. She could see empty tables with no reserved signs. All of them? Yes, ma'am, we're expecting a large party shortly. There was something in his tone, something cold, something final. Marcus felt it too. His smile faded. What time is that party arriving? I'm not at liberty to say, sir. So we can't even wait? I would suggest trying one of our other dining options. The coffee shop downstairs is quite nice. Diana's eyes were starting to glisten. She'd known this might happen. She'd told Marcus they shouldn't come here, but he'd insisted. It's our anniversary, he'd said. We deserve to celebrate somewhere nice. It's our anniversary, Diana said quietly to the host. We just wanted... I'm very sorry, ma'am. Perhaps with a reservation another time. His voice was polite but empty. He wasn't sorry at all. Marcus took Diana's hand. Come on, baby, let's go. They turned away from the bar and walked back toward the lobby. Diana was blinking rapidly, trying not to cry. Marcus's jaw was clenched tight. They'd been rejected, dismissed, humiliated, on their anniversary, in front of everyone. They sat down on a couch in the corner of the lobby, far from the bar entrance. Diana finally let the tears fall. I knew it, she whispered. I knew this would happen. We don't belong here. Yes, we do, Marcus said, but his voice lacked conviction. That guy was just... He was just being honest. Diana interrupted. This place isn't for us. It never was. From across the lobby, Bob and Michael had watched the entire exchange. They couldn't hear the words, but they saw everything. The couple's hope, the host's cold rejection, the woman's tears. Bob's expression darkened. Michael's fists clenched. You saw that? Bob asked quietly. Yeah, Michael said, his voice tight. Same thing happened to me last month. Different hotel, different city, same excuse. We're at capacity. But they weren't. Bob stood up. Where are you going? Michael asked. To do something. Bob, they'll call security. Let them. Bob walked across the lobby toward the couple. Marcus saw him approaching and immediately tensed, protective. Another problem? Another person to tell them they don't belong? But then Bob spoke. Excuse me, I couldn't help but notice what just happened. Marcus stood up slightly, defensive. We're fine, man. We're leaving. I'm Bob, Bob said simply, gesturing to himself. This is Michael. He indicated Michael, who had followed behind him. Diana looked up, her tear-stained face confused. She stared at Bob, at his dreadlocks, at his face. Wait, Bob Marley? Bob nodded. Then she looked at Michael. Recognition dawned slowly. Michael Jackson? Michael gave a small wave. Hi. Marcus's mouth fell open. What are you doing? We saw what happened, Bob said, sitting down on the couch across from them without asking permission. That man at the bar. He turned you away. Yeah, Marcus said bitterly. Apparently we don't have the right reservations. Bob said, understanding everything in that one sound. What were you celebrating? Diana wiped her eyes. Our anniversary. 3 years. Stupid idea to come here. Not stupid, Bob said firmly. Just the wrong place. What's your favorite song? Diana blinked, confused by the sudden change in topic. What? Your song, Bob said. The one you danced to at your wedding. What was it? Diana glanced at Marcus, then back at Bob. Three Little Birds. Your song, actually. We played it at our reception. Bob smiled, a real smile, warm and genuine. Give me 5 minutes. He stood up and walked toward the elevators, leaving Diana and Marcus staring after him in confusion. Michael sat down in Bob's empty spot. He's going to do something special, Michael said. Bob's like that. When he sees injustice, he doesn't just walk away. Do something? Marcus asked. Like what? You'll see. 10 minutes passed. Diana and Marcus sat with Michael in awkward silence, still not quite believing this was happening. Michael told them about his new album, about being nervous doing interviews without his brothers, about how lonely it felt to be successful but isolated. Then Bob returned. He was carrying an acoustic guitar. People in the lobby started to notice. Heads turned. Whispers began. "Is that Bob Marley?" Bob walked back to the couple and sat down on the floor in front of their couch, his guitar across his lap. He began tuning it, adjusting the strings. "Bob, what are you doing?" Diana whispered. "This is for Diana and Marcus," Bob said loud enough for people nearby to hear. "Happy anniversary." He began to play, the opening chords of Three Little Birds. The lobby wasn't quiet anymore. People stopped walking. Conversations died mid-sentence. Heads turned from every direction. Bob's voice, that legendary voice, filled the Waldorf Astoria lobby. "Don't worry about a thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be all right." Diana's hands flew to her mouth. Fresh tears came, but these weren't tears of humiliation. These were tears of joy, of disbelief, of something beautiful happening in a moment that had been so ugly. Michael, sitting beside the couple, started doing something unexpected. He began beatboxing. Softly at first, adding rhythm to Bob's guitar, then louder, more confident. His beat complemented Bob's playing perfectly. A crowd was forming. 20 people, 50, 100. Hotel guests coming out of elevators, walking in from the street, emerging from hallways. They formed a circle around Bob, Michael, and the couple. "Singin' Don't Worry About a Thing, 'cause every little thing gonna be all right." Bob sang directly to Diana and Marcus. His eyes locked on theirs. This wasn't a performance for the crowd. This was a gift for them. But the crowd got to witness it. Someone in the crowd recognized Michael. "Oh my God, that's Michael Jackson! Singing with Bob Marley!" What is happening right now? The bar manager, hearing the commotion, stepped out of the bar entrance. He saw the crowd, looked closer, saw Bob Marley with a guitar, saw Michael Jackson beatboxing. His face went pale. The bar, which had supposedly been full of reservations, was now nearly empty. All his customers had abandoned their tables to see what was happening in the lobby. Bob finished Three Little Birds and immediately transitioned into One Love. The crowd began swaying. Some were singing along. Others had pulled out cameras, though in 1979 that meant actual cameras, not phones. One love, one heart, let's get together and feel all right. Marcus and Diana stood up. They began dancing, right there in the lobby. Slowly, holding each other close, moving to Bob's music. Diana was crying openly now, but she was smiling too. This was the most surreal, beautiful moment of her life. Michael, watching them dance, started to move too. Small movements at first, a shoulder shift, a foot tap, then more. He couldn't help it. Music moved through him like electricity. He did a spin. The crowd gasped and cheered. Bob looked up at Michael and grinned. "That's it, brother. Let it out." The bar manager finally gathered his courage and approached the edge of the crowd. "Excuse me, gentlemen, you can't do this here." Bob didn't stop playing. "We're just celebrating an anniversary." "But you're disrupting hotel operations." Michael stopped beatboxing long enough to say, "Your bar is empty anyway." A woman in the crowd, an older white woman in an expensive dress, spoke up. "If you make them stop, I'm checking out of this hotel right now." "Me too," said a man in a business suit. "Let them play," someone else shouted. The bar manager looked around at the crowd, at the cameras, at the two of the most famous musicians in the world performing in his lobby for free, and he realized he'd lost control of the situation entirely. He backed away. Bob played for 30 minutes. No woman, no cry. Exodus. Could You Be Loved, which he and Michael performed together, their voices blending in an unrehearsed harmony that would never be recorded, never be reproduced, existing only in that moment for the 200 people lucky enough to be there. When Bob finally stopped playing, the applause was thunderous. People were crying. Not just Diana, dozens of people in that crowd, moved by something they couldn't fully explain. It wasn't just the music. It was witnessing grace in action, witnessing two legends use their gifts to lift up two strangers who'd been knocked down. Bob stood up, set his guitar aside, and hugged Diana, then Marcus. "Happy anniversary," he said quietly. "Don't let anyone ever make you feel like you don't belong somewhere. You belong anywhere you want to be." The bar manager, desperate to salvage something from this public relations disaster, approached the couple. "Mr. and Mrs. Thompson," he said, his voice now obsequious and apologetic. "We would be deeply honored if you would join us in the bar. Complimentary, of course. With our sincere apologies for the earlier misunderstanding." Marcus looked at the man, then at Diana, then at Bob and Michael. He smiled. "No thanks," Marcus said. "We already had the best anniversary celebration in New York City, maybe in the world. Your bar couldn't top this." Bob laughed, a real, full laugh. "You got that right, brother." Michael spoke up. "There's a good restaurant 2 blocks from here. Jamaican food. My treat. All of us." And that's what they did. Bob Marley, Michael Jackson, Marcus Thompson, and Diana Thompson walked out of the Waldorf Astoria together and had dinner at a small Jamaican restaurant where nobody cared about dress codes